Ladies,
It's pretty fluid in the film.
want the mints to talk?
But it's right in the gate, right up. And I ordered my Uber when I was walking out, and he was there.
Good. Talk, John?
Hey, John. I mean, for me,
You want to come either?
you want to wait an hour for the bus to come out.
What's going, you over here? They're all over here? They're trying to take, oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Susan got a call from Deanna about 4:15. She was coming.
All right. You don't have people, right?
You don't have to worry.
I don't have to vote.
Worth it, you know? Hey, Paul, you want a couple people to take over some of the...
Yeah, I'll just,
Hey, John.
There's my buddy Fred. In the back with the glasses and the blue shirt.
you do that.
This is for Thursday night. Okay?
Was there anything you said to me?
Yeah.
No.
Just park on.
I want to talk to you for 5 minutes afterwards, okay?
Okay.
Let's wait and see if we're out of here.
Want it? It's got the resolutions attached.
No?
Yeah. Yeah, hey,
Today is the
you know,
18th.
you can't fake it too much though, Fred, you know? Did you get one of these from Kim Moore?
One of these mics are nice talking to.
Something that you should have it as clerk in case anybody asks you what's going on. It's from Kim. This is from Kim. It's not for tonight. If you could pass it down, this is from Kim Moriak. It's not for tonight, but just some information, okay?
We're just waiting for our camera guy to give me the okay.
And you gotta get some exciting food. Gosh. But we did find something you love.
That's the last one. Chapter 6.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Little one there? Should have figured that. I mean, I didn't make, I wasn't connecting anything.
In compliance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice has been given to all members of the governing body, the local source, and the Westfield Leader, the two newspapers designated to receive such notice. This notice is also posted on the Borough Hall bulletin board. Let's stand for an invocation from Councilman Dirkus, please.
Lord, we ask that you protect our rescue team, which includes the EMS, the fire department, and of course, members of our police department, many of which are here tonight. and we ask that you protect our town. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Martha.
Councilwoman Andre, absent. Councilman Dierkes.
Here.
Councilman Messler.
Here.
Councilwoman Pacifico.
Here.
Councilwoman Pater.
Here.
Councilman Turner is absent.
Just 1 minute. One minor logistical issue. Okay, next we have the approval of our minutes. Let's start with the approval of the regular meeting on January 21st, 2020. Got a motion, somebody?
So moved.
Second.
Keith leaves for one meeting, you guys forgot what to do, or what? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Dierkes.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater.
Yes.
Next, we have the approval of the minutes for the work and executive session meeting on February 4th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater.
Yes.
Tonight, we have the pleasure, and it's at the request of our Police Chief Giannuzzi, that he be permitted to give out some police awards tonight. So at this time, I'm going to turn the proceedings over to Joe.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our police awards ceremony. This is the first time we're having the ceremony apart from our very busy reorg meeting, which hopefully lightens the load of the mayor and council on that evening and also allows for a little bit more focus on what we're here to do tonight. This is a night where we take a moment to publicly honor and recognize the outstanding work our police department does, and these are for events that occurred in 2019. At the end of each year, our supervisors turn in recommendations for awards and events that deserve to be recognized. What we read is sometimes cut down in a condensed version of what happened during that time. Otherwise, we'd be here for a long time as we read and got into every detail of the action. But during each of these actions, our police officers acted decisively and appropriately, and we're proud of them for what they did. As a chief of police, I'm proud of the work they do for the citizens of Mountainside and thank them for their daily efforts. So, with that, we'll begin the awards ceremony. At this time, I would invite Police Officer Urban, Corporal Stinner, and Police Officer Pierre to come forward. Stolen motor vehicles are a problem for everybody statewide. As technology has changed, it is no longer possible to hotwire a car, to break a window and hotwire a car. Oftentimes, they have to either take it from someone who's driving it, or they have to leave the keys in a vehicle. And statewide, they observe, it's a problem of people driving through the neighborhoods, looking for signs that the vehicle has the keys in it, and then if it's unlocked, getting in it and starting it and driving away. What occurred on the night of April 11th is a result of some of that. On April 11th, 2019, at 11:30 p.m., Police Officer Urban observed a stolen vehicle on Route 22 at the traffic light for New Providence Road. The vehicle description had been broadcasted to units in the field 2 hours earlier before Urban came in contact with it. The vehicle's operator ignored Urban's lights and sirens, signaling it to pull over to the right and stop. The vehicle fled Route 22 east into the township of Hillside, where it lost control and crashed. During the pursuit, Urban was joined by Mountainside police officers Stinner and Pierre, who assisted in the pursuit and the foot chase of the occupants after the crash. The operator was taken into custody without incident. As a result, the officers will receive a citation. The same night, April 11th, 2019, about 4 hours later, 5:50 in the morning, an alert was broadcasted by the Westfield Police Department of a motor vehicle that was stolen from their town minutes ago. Corporal Stinner observed the area of Route 22 and Mountain Avenue for any activity matching the vehicle's description. Stinner observed 2 vehicles at a high rate of speed disregard the stop sign and proceed Route 22 east, one matching the description of the recently stolen vehicle. The second vehicle was also stolen and used in the crime to steal the second. During this time, he was assisted again by police officers Pierre and Urban. Corporal Stinner then engaged in a motor vehicle pursuit of the 2 vehicles through multiple towns and into the township of Hillside, where the vehicle exited and crashed into a utility pole. The occupant fled on foot through the backyards of the city of Newark, where he was apprehended after a foot pursuit. This was the second incident of stolen vehicles within hours of which both resulted in arrests of the same shift. So this award will be combined with the first award, and we're proud of what they did that night.
Guys, turn around, so, right.
As everyone maybe knows, there's a terrible heroin epidemic that's plaguing the entire country. Every quarter, I get the results from the state police. They have a drug monitoring initiative, and when you see the numbers that come through, the amount of Narcan or naloxone saves of people just within a quarter of 3 or 4 month period that would have died if it were not for the naloxone program, it would be a terrible death rate for the entire year. This is one of those stories. I would invite Officer Sforza and Hagen to come up, please. On June 18th at approximately 8:15 p.m., Officers Sforza and Hagen responded to the Public Storage Center on Route 22 for a possible drug overdose. Upon arrival, the officers found the male victim seated in a vehicle, unresponsive with a slight pulse and very shallow breathing. A witness who was traveling with the victim had observed suspicious activity earlier while they both visited a Walgreens and advised the officers that the victim may be suffering a drug overdose, which was the reason for the medical episode. This information caused Officer Sforza to administer naloxone to the victim, and within a few minutes of receiving a life-saving drug, which counters the effects of heroin, the victim woke up and was treated by the Mountainside Rescue Squad. For their actions, they were both awarded a life-saving award. This is a story of a domestic violence response that occurred here in Mountainside. At this point, I would invite Officers Pastor and Hagen, Corporal Norton, and Corporal Stolting to come forward. On the night of July 6th at approximately 11:10 in the evening, headquarters received a 911 call of a domestic violence incident in progress. The frantic caller reported that her husband threatened her with a firearm as she was barricaded in the bedroom along with the children. The husband actively attempted to force entry into the room. Officers Pastor and Hagen responded to the location, arriving simultaneously. Both officers approached the front door, announced their presence, and attempted to gain entry into the front door. With the front door locked and hearing yelling within the residence, both officers acted without hesitation and without regard for their own safety by forcing entry into the residence. Officer Hagan forced entry into the front door, and both officers entered the residence not knowing where the suspect was located and believing him to be armed with a firearm. Upon entering the residence, both officers encountered the suspect ascending the staircase from the lower level. Officer Hagan and Pastor gave commands to the suspect to show his hands and immediately attempted to handcuff him and take him into custody. The suspect, who was intoxicated, began to resist, at which point officers took him to the ground and successfully handcuffed him. At this point in time, Corporal Norton arrived on scene along with Corporal Stolting. With the suspect in custody and being secured by officers Pastor and Hagan, Stolting and Norton located the victims locked in the bedroom on the lower level. The subsequent investigation led to the recovery and seizure of a handgun, ammunition, and a large knife. The suspect was charged with possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, aggravated assault, and terroristic threats. A temporary restraining order was granted, and the suspect was later transported to the Union County Jail. If both officers, Pastor and Hagan, had not acted quickly, decisively, and with regard for their own safety in coming into the aid of the caller, serious harm to the victim and her children could have resulted. As a result, officers Hagan and Pastor will receive an award of merit. Corporal Norton and Stolting will receive a commendation for their actions. I would invite Officers Pierre and Sforza to come forward, please. Again, this is another story of a stolen vehicle. In the early morning hours of July 19th at 5:55 a.m., Police Officer Pierre witnessed a blue Audi traveling New Providence Road from the direction of the Mountainside Business Center, swerve around the traffic which had stopped for the traffic light, and continue to travel Route 22 east at a high rate of speed. Officer Pierre, who was across the intersection near the firehouse, then attempted to catch up to the vehicle to conduct a traffic stop, at which time the Audi increased its speed and ignored Pierre's emergency lights and siren. The pursuit continued Route 22 east to the exit from Morris Avenue, where the Audi lost control and crashed. The two male occupants of the vehicle, which had been stolen from a Watchung residence earlier in the evening, fled on foot seconds before Pierre's arrival. Officer Pierre and Sforza began to search the area on foot for the suspects, assisted by the Union Township Police. The two suspects, in an attempt to flee, stole a second vehicle, which they crashed in the area of Morris and Union Street in the city of Elizabeth. After a brief foot pursuit, the two suspects were placed under arrest. For their actions in this event, Officers Pierre and Sforza are awarded a commendation. At this time, I'd invite Officers Sforza and Detective Bendick to come forward, please. On August 12th, Officer Sforza was dispatched to the rear of Beechwood School for a report of a suspicious incident. Upon arrival, he met the caller, who stated while walking her dog, she observed a male exit a vehicle and leave a box in a nearby area of Beechwood School. Upon examining the box, Officer Sforza found it to contain a large amount of green pills in a vacuum-sealed bag. The pills were later identified as alpromazam, which is a controlled medication used to treat anxiety. After a lengthy investigation by Detective Bendick, which led to the address in Summit for the person who placed the box in the woods. This labor-intensive investigation included search warrants for electronic devices and other means of investigation, and a 20-year-old Summit male and a 17-year-old juvenile from Berkeley Heights were arrested and charged with possession of a controlled and dangerous substance with intent to distribute, and a second charge of distribution on school grounds. For their efforts, Officers Forrest is awarded a certificate of recognition and Detective Bendick a commendation. At this time, I would invite Officer Hussey and Sergeant Latargia to come forward. On September 29th at 5:41 p.m., Sergeant Latargia and Police Officer Hussey responded to a home on Pembroke Road where it was reported that a woman was choking and could not breathe. Upon arrival, the victim was observed slumped over at the kitchen sink, gasping for air. Sergeant Latargia performed a life-saving Heimlich maneuver on the victim with the assistance of Officer Hussey, who performed a finger sweep of the victim's mouth, searching for the object lodged in her throat. After several applications of the Heimlich maneuver, the food was dislodged from the victim's airway, allowing her to breathe normally again. She refused medical treatment and remained in her home. For their efforts, both officers are awarded a life-saving award. At this point in time, I would ask Detective Bendick, Detective Feiner, and Detective DeVito to come forward. On September 30th, in the early morning hours, a man is dropped off by a taxi cab at the Vet 22 repair shop on Route 22, where he burglarizes several motor vehicles parked there for repair. Mountainside detectives working the case were able to locate the cab and trace its route that evening to a motel in Elizabeth. Detectives then compared video footage of the motel from the motel to the video footage at the repair shop and were able to develop a suspect in the motor vehicle burglaries. From this information, an arrest warrant was issued and an arrest was imminent. During the course of this investigation, the suspect committed a similar burglary to a gas station in Springfield in the early morning hours of October 9th, where he stole a vehicle which had been dropped off awaiting repair. He then used this vehicle to travel to Mountainside and burglarized a gas station at the corner of Route 22 and Summit Road. Video surveillance from both locations determined it to be the same suspect as in the Vet 22 incident. Based on information gathered from that investigation, Mountainside, Summit, and Springfield detectives were able to set up surveillance in an area of Newark where the suspect was known to frequent. Within hours, the stolen motor vehicle was located and the suspect was arrested exiting the store. He was charged with over 30 criminal complaints for his burglary spree in the area. For their efforts, the detectives will be awarded a commendation. I would ask Officer Carr and Corporal Stinner to come forward, please. On October 27th at 1:12 a.m., Police Officer Carr was dispatched to a burglary in progress where individuals were observed exiting a home using flashlights. Upon arrival, Carr and Stinner identified themselves as police officers, at which time both actors fled on foot into the wooded area. With the assistance of nearby police departments, a perimeter was set up to contain the actors while police continued to search on foot. Both actors were subsequently arrested and charged. For their actions, both officers will be receiving a certificate of recognition. I would ask Officer Hussey and Yasinski to come forward, please. On December 12th at approximately 2:14 p.m., Officers Hussey and Yasinski responded to an address on Farview Drive where a 79-year-old male was having difficulty breathing in a vehicle. Upon arrival, the officers observed the victim having difficulty breathing in and out of consciousness until eventually he lost consciousness altogether. Both officers removed the victim from the vehicle and began the process of performing CPR, administering oxygen, and applying the portable defibrillator. The victim's pulse was restored, and he was transported to Overlook Hospital by Union County EMS for further life-saving treatment. For their actions, both officers are awarded a life-saving award. So that's just a sample of some of the things that goes on, that occur here in the borough of Mountainside. At this point in time, we're conclude the award ceremony, and we proudly extend our congratulations to tonight's honorees for their contribution to public safety here in Mountainside. To each of our award recipients, we say thank you.
I'd also like to thank all the recipients. The Mountainside Police Department is why Mountainside is one of the safest towns in the whole state, and we think that's a great achievement to our police department and to the people that got awards tonight, as well as the whole police department. We really want to thank them. I think, though, we should, though, all stand and give them a standing ovation. There is one award that they forgot, though. Last week at the Cops versus the 8th grade basketball game, there was a winning shot with seconds left by Bill Saforza, and I think that's the first time they won that game, and as long as I can remember. So I don't know why you didn't give him an award, Joe. Okay, so next we have another proclamation that we also want to give out tonight. Donna, this is to the Friends of the Mountainside Public Library. I see many of them here tonight. Thank you for attending.
Whereas every year the libraries of Union County gather and give out awards for contributions to libraries from community members in the following categories: business, elected officials, friends, trustees, volunteers, library advocates, and staff members. Whereas the 2019 award for Friends Group of the Year went to the Friends of the Mountainside Public Library for their dedication and hard work. Whereas in 2019, the Friends donated over $20,000 to the library, including paying for all of our programming, paid for our website maintenance, funded the entire museum pass program, and purchased materials for our childhood reading programs, such as 1,000 books before kindergarten and prizes for our summer reading program. The Friends worked tirelessly running book sales, a holiday sale, and a boutique sale, along with their membership drives to raise money to support the library. A recent Gallup poll reported that American adults visit the library more than they attend the movies, live sport events, museums, concert, amusement parks, and casinos. The effort of this small but mighty group of dedicated volunteers is why libraries remain so popular. They are fierce and loyal advocates of our library's mission and help support this community resource that provides access to everyone in Mountainside. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside hereby commend the Friends of the Mountainside Library for being the recipients of the 2019 Friends of the Year Award.
We do have to make it official, though. We have a proclamation, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So proclaimed. Thank you for all the work that you do. Ladies, why don't you stand up? We'll give you a standing ovation, too. Come on. Hey, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much. Appreciate what you guys do. Okay, now we go back to our normal mundane work that we do here.
One more proclamation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I know why I forgot this one. It's the one I can't pronounce. Okay, we do have one more proclamation. It's for the Youth Art Month. Whereas art education contributes powerful educational benefits to all elementary, middle, and secondary schools, including the following. Art education develops students' creative problem-solving and critical thinking abilities. Art education teaches sensitivity to beauty, order, and other expressive qualities. And art education gives students a deeper education of multicultural values and beliefs. And art education reinforces and brings to life what students learn in other subjects. Art education interrelates student learning in art production, art history, art criticism, and aesthetics. Whereas our national leaders acknowledge the necessity of including arts experiences in all students' education. And whereas March is officially recognized as Youth Art Month, I endorse the observance of Youth Art Month and encourage the support of quality school art programs for children and youth. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Paul M. Mirabelli, do endorse March 2020 as Youth Art Month.
Good job.
Okay, so now let's start with some resolutions here. First, we have Resolution 36-2020.
Yes. The students of the 2020 graduating class of Governor Livingston High School have determined that to have an alcohol and drug-free graduation party during the hours immediately following graduation until the following morning to be held at Rutgers University. And whereas the governing body of the Borough of Mountainside wishes to support this decision to have graduation celebration free from serving alcohol and thereby assuring there will be no students who have attended this graduation party driving while under the influence of drugs or liquor, and now therefore be resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Mountainside that $300 shall be given to the fundraising committee of project graduation toward the expenses incurred for the 2020 alcohol-free graduation party of Governor Livingston High School. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 37-2020.
Yes, Resolution 37-2020 is to refund monies to interested parties for overpayment of current year taxes. This is usually due to duplicate payments due to banks, title company, or the law firm. So that's for $2,439.85 for 1,111 Maple Court, $3,318.87 for 208 Echo Ridge Way, $3,765.90 for 1260 Cedar Avenue, and $3,773.37 for 177 Chipmunk. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 38-2020. Bob, you want to take this?
Sure. This is a extension of professional services for some investigations going on with the Mountainside Police Department. The services were to not exceed $17,500. Now they're being extended to $25,000 over the term of the contract. This contract expire on 12/31/2020. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second?
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 39-2020. Donna?
Resolution 39-2020, whereas the local public contract law allows the use of competitive contracting for the operation, management, of administration of animal control services by the Borough of Mountainside. Whereas the Borough of Mountainside is in need of these services. Whereas the competitive contracting process was initiated by Resolution 131-2019, adopted by the Mayor and Council on December 17, 2019. Whereas on January 22, 2020, the Borough received one response to the request for proposals of the operation, management, or administration of animal control services as follows. Year one, annual fee will be $15,480. Year two, $15,480. Year three, $15,480,000. Whereas the QPA recommends an award to Animal Control Solutions, LLC, for 3 years for the sum of $46,440 for the period from March 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2023. Whereas the Chief Financial Officer certified the funds are available in the 2020 budget for $15,480 for year one of a 3-year contract by certification of availability of funds. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Mountainside, the County of Union, State of New Jersey, that the Mayor is authorized to execute a contract as follows. 1, that the contract be awarded to Animal Control Solutions, LLC. 2, Marshall Drive, Flemington, New Jersey. Year 1, $15,480. Year 2, $15,480. And year 3, $15,480 for the total sum of $46,444 for the period of March 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2023, and all is accrued cost proposals as contained and attached hereby as Exhibit A. The contract may be extended for 2 one-year periods at the option of the Borough for $15,480 year 4 and $15,480 for year 5. That the clerk publish notice for this award with the information required by the New Jersey SA. The annual fee shall be paid in monthly installments of the 12th for the total fee for each of the 3 years of the contract, and all other fees to be paid within 30 days upon receipt of the invoice services rendered.
We have a motion, we have a second. Very good, Donna.
Second.
You can't second, you made the motion.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, Renee seconded.
Yeah.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 40-2020. Rachel, you want to take that, please?
Sure. This resolution 40-2020 is for the Recreation Department, and they had previously established fees for various recreation classes, and the Recreation Department has determined that a non-refundable administrative fee should be charged for various recreational classes. The Mayor and Council of the Borough and Mountainside are going to issue the following non-refundable administrative fees be charged for the Recreation Department classes. So the non-refundable administrative fees for residents range from $5 up to $13, depending on the class fee. The non-refundable administrative fees for non-residents range from $10 to $26, again, depending on the cost of the class. And there will also be a 10% use facility fee for all instructors that run clinics. So moved.
Motion and a second? Second. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 41-2020. Donna?
Be it resolved that Mayor Paul N. Marabelli hereby authorizes the following appointments and terms to the Library Board of Trustees. Allison Murphy for 2020 and Ashley Osaja for 2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
They're both here tonight, so I'd like to welcome to the library board. I know you both of them do a very good job. I know Ashley's going to continue the work of her mother, because if she doesn't, she'll be in big trouble. So I want to thank both of them for stepping up and volunteering. Okay, next we have Resolution 42-2020.
That's me.
That's you, Renee.
Okay, that provides for the transfer within certain appropriations within the reserved municipal budget during the first 3 months of the fiscal year. And that will be from legal of $75,000, other expense group of $50,000, police for $75,000, gasoline and diesel of $25,000, and planning board of $25,000, over to snow expense and capital improvement for a total of $250,000.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 43-2020. Bob, you want to do that, please?
Sure. NJSA 27.5F requires all 911 emergency medical service agencies to notify the municipality they serve that their volunteers, employees, applicants, ambulance, and equipment meet the standards required by law. Whereas the Mountainside Rescue Squad has notified the governing body that the Mountainside Rescue Squad is licensed by the state of New Jersey as a basic life support ambulance provider. All ambulances are licensed to provide the service and operate at least 2 emergency medical technicians. Therefore, resolved, the mayor and council do here certify that based on the information from the Mountainside Rescue Squad, the staff, ambulances, and ambulance equipment are qualified for providing emergency medical services to the borough of Mountainside. So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 44-2020.
Yes, this resolution recognizes the celebration of 100 years of women's suffrage. The year 2020 marks this 100th anniversary and the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, guaranteeing and protecting women's right to vote. This centennial offers an opportunity to commemorate a milestone of democracy, that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the federal state governments on account of gender. New Jersey has had a long, storied history in the suffrage movement within New Jersey, playing a crucial role in pursuing the rights of women to vote. And on June 4th, 1919, Congress passed the 19th Amendment guaranteeing all women the right to vote. On February 9th, 1920, New Jersey became the 29th state to ratify the 19th Amendment, granting women the right to vote. And shortly after the ratification of the 19th Amendment, Margaret Laird and Jenny Van Ness were the first 2 women elected to the New Jersey Assembly in 1921 and in 1925. Rebecca Estelle Bourgeau Winston of Estelle Manor was New Jersey's first woman mayor. Now therefore be it resolved, in honor of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment of the Borough of Mountainside, we lit up areas in the municipal building in purple, one of the colors of the New Jersey suffrage movement, for the week of February 10th. Be it further resolved that the Borough of Mountainside supports the effort of New Jersey Suffrage Centennial New Jersey Women Vote and strongly encourages local celebrations of this historic milestone. So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have some ordinances. We have the second reading on Ordinance 1278-2020.
Got it?
Yeah, Bob, you want to do that, please?
Whereas the governing body of Borough of Mountainside have decided to resurface Long Meadow and Beechwood Court, whereas a grant award is now available from New Jersey DOT in an amount of $322,000, whereas the governing body of the Borough of Mountainside concurs that this resurfacing is necessary. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the sum of $322,000 be and is hereby appropriated for the resurfacing of Long Meadow and Beechwood Court by grant from the New Jersey DOT. Be it further ordained that the Borough of Mountainside shall be reimbursed by the state of New Jersey DOT in the amount of $322,000. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. This is second reading, so it's open to the public for any public comment. Someone? Seeing that there is no public comment, I would ask one of the councilmen to move to close the public session. Councilwomen. Two. Second, please.
Second.
Okay, poll the council.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have, again, the second reading on ordinance 1279-2020. Rachel, you want to handle that, please?
Sure. This ordinance amends Chapter X, Section 1.14, Section A and B in the Code of Borough of Mountainside regarding membership fees for the use of the community pool. The new fees that have been established are as follows. Family membership is $348. Each unmarried child over 21 living at home or parent living with a family is $124. A single membership is $179. Two adult memberships, 18 years older, living in the same Mountainside address, $332. Senior citizens, 62 or older, $124. Child under the age of 16 joining as part of a family, single or senior citizen membership of a relative, $179. A resident person age 14 or 50 employed by a family as a parent's helper, $179. Single parent child, $297. Au pair and nanny is $124. The guest fees on weekends and holidays for adults are $12, under 18 or $10. Weekdays for adult are $10, under 18 or $8. House guest weekly fees, 18 years or younger, $25, over 18 years of age are $30. Individuals on active military duty who are residents will be admitted free. Family membership is composed of only two persons, shall be entitled to 10 complimentary guest fees. A single membership shall be entitled to 5 complimentary guests. Senior citizen membership shall be entitled to 2 complimentary guests. A family, senior citizen, or single membership shall receive 2 complimentary guest passes if it's paid on or before April 15th of the membership year. 2 adult memberships shall be entitled to 5 complimentary guests. Non-resident members' fees and guest fees shall be as follows. Family membership, $640. Each unmarried child over 21 living at home is $124. Single membership, 16 years or older, $322. Senior citizen membership, $271. A child under the age of 16 joining as part of a family is $322. Non-resident person, 14 or 15, employed by a family member as a parent's helper is $322. Guest daily fees, adult 12, under 18, 10. Weekdays, adult 10, under 18, 8. House guest weekly fee, $25, over 18 years of age is $30. Registration fee payable for the first year membership, the single membership is $35. Family membership is $65. Family membership is composed of only 2 persons, shall be entitled to 10 complimentary guest pass. A single membership shall be entitled to 5 complimentary guests. Senior citizen membership shall be entitled to 2 complimentary guests. And a family, senior citizen, or single membership shall receive 2 complimentary guest passes if the membership fees are paid in full on or before April 14th. So be it further ordained that any fees set by this ordinance or otherwise collected by the Recreation Department are paid by credit card. An additional charge equal to the percentage of such fees charged the borough by the credit card and the issuer shall be applied. Be it further ordained that all other sections of Chapter X shall remain unchanged, and this ordinance shall take effect 20 days after the first publication hereof and final passage. So moved.
Okay, it's the second reading. Any public comment? Seeing no public participation, someone needs to move that we close the public session.
Please close.
Please move to close.
Bob, you second that?
Second.
Okay, poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have second reading on ordinance 1280-2020. Bob?
Yes, an ordinance adopting and updating and revised code pursuant to NJSA 40:49-4. Whereas the Borough of Mountainside has maintained a codification of its ordinances pursuant to NJSA 40:49-4 in hard copy, whereas the borough has contracted with Municipal Code Online, a firm that provides software to permit the borough to maintain an electronic version of the code online and simultaneously update the electronic version of the code as it adopts new legislation. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside in the County of Union and the State of New Jersey, NJSA 40:49-4 as follows, as approved. So moved.
Okay, again, this is the second reading, so it's open for public comment. Why don't you come forward and give us your name and address, please?
Liz Truman, 355 Cherry Hill Road. I'm just wondering what the public, if you can tell us a little more about what the public improvements are. Thank you.
I think this is not the bond issue. That's the next one, I think. The public improvement, this is for the updating of the borough code. The next one, I believe, is the one you have a question about what the improvements are going to be through the bond that we're going to pass.
This basically is the current code book is in writing form. It makes it electronic form so that stuff can be updated by computer instead of manually.
For $1 million?
No.
Oh.
So you're on the wrong one.
You're on the wrong one, that's why. Okay. So we closed the public session, I'm sorry, we have another comment.
Okay.
On the description of it, it mentions section 1.2, code supersedes prior ordinances. Is it just the updating of the online of all existing ordinances, or are there any changes to any previous ordinances?
What we have been doing for a number of years now is to try to recodify two things. One is to collect all of the borough ordinances and make sure they are gathered in one recodification. That's number one. And number two is to make the result of that effort available online. Because at the moment, you have to go to the borough clerk's office to get a copy of the ordinances, and it's a much more lengthy, difficult process than it's going to be going forward. So what we have done is, one, collected all the borough ordinances, put them into one recodification, and then put them online so that they're available. As a matter of fact, on the borough website now, if you go to the website, you will see a link that takes you to the borough code, and if you have a question about any provision of any of the borough ordinances, it's just a fairly simple table of contents to follow and get you right to the area that you want to look into. Did that answer your question?
I guess if I'm
I
understanding
mean, there were
correctly-
some, and in the process of collecting and recodifying, there were changes made to some of the ordinances. As we went through the process, we discovered that they were out of date, or that they had been affected by subsequent ordinances. So there was also an effort to bring up to date and make consistent the recodification. There were a lot of changes made. A lot is probably, well, that's accurate, I think. Changes made with respect to various things that we discovered were no longer applicable. The one that comes immediately to mind is that there was a change made with respect to some COA references in the ordinances, because the role of the Council on Affordable Housing today is very different than it was back at the time that the ordinances had been adopted, so we brought that up to date. That's just one example that comes to mind.
So in that example that you just mentioned, is there an impact on, say, the residents, or how you're applying the code?
That one would have no impact whatsoever. It's simply a matter of making the borough code consistent with the existing state regulatory and statutory framework.
So if any of the ones that you changed or were changed or codified, were there any impacts or significant impacts that would have had some impact on residents that we were not made aware of?
I can't think of anything that would have had that effect, or that would have that effect.
If you want to find the code, you can go on the website, and I understand on the side it says, "I want to," in parentheses. If you click that, there'll be a laundry list of places you can go, and one of them is View Municipal Ordinances. You'll be able to go, if that's the way you can go on and get to the municipal ordinances.
Let me give you another
Not
example.
have changed,
I'm sorry?
things like zoning
No.
and significant changes that would impact.
There were no changes made with respect to zoning whatsoever. As I was sitting here, and we have all the police, or a lot of the members of the police department here, there was a reference in the code to the appointment of a police physician and to a police physician performing certain functions. Now, so far as I'm aware, there has not been a police physician appointed in Mountainside for, and I checked with the chief about this, neither one of us could ever remember that happening, nor could either one of us ever remember a police physician, quote-unquote, doing anything in Mountainside. So that reference to a police physician was deleted. That's just another, as I was sitting here thinking about your earlier question, another example that came to mind.
Right, because when I read your ordinance, like it talks about sections 1 through 2, code supersedes prior ordinances before December 30th, permanent ordinances enacted prior to December 31st. Very specific, whereas others were referenced in that they wouldn't change. So it kind of had me a little concerned as to what, it seemed very specific as to what was changed and not changed.
I will tell you that what was changed is that everything that existed prior to the effective date of the recodification has been superseded, replaced by the recodification.
Right.
That's what's happened. And that was, as I said before, the culmination of an effort that has been going on for more years than I want to admit to. And this is a process that we've been trying to get done
Like outdated laws.
for a number of years now, because it's a much better arrangement for everybody, starting with the borough staff, with the borough citizens. Anybody who wants to know anything about the Mountainside Borough Code can now go right online, look at that document.
I agree.
The link. So it's a much better arrangement all the way around.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that it's taken so long.
Yeah, I agree, and I thought it was a great idea to put it online. That's transparency and so forth is a great thing. It was just those small areas that talked about changes that the public wasn't made aware of that had me a little concerned, that I wanted to understand a little bit more about. And I could understand outdated laws, but I'm surprised that it wasn't like publicized somewhere so you could understand what transitioned from no law to current law.
Well, I don't think there was anything that transitioned from no law to current law. In other words, there's nothing in the recodification
Right.
that was not in the code before, or not in the body of Mountainside ordinances before.
Okay.
So we just gathered all that together and recodified it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? Seeing no more public comment, I move that section be closed. Someone has to do that.
Close that section.
We have a second to close?
Second.
Poll the council.
I need a second.
I think it was,
Me.
Okay.
sorry about that, Martha.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is first reading on ordinance 1281-2020, and if you don't mind, I'll introduce this. This is a bond ordinance to authorize the making of various improvements in the borough of Mountainside, to appropriate the sum of $1 million to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, and to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriations. And the infrastructure improvements that are going to be made are, there's bank stabilization projects at various locations, sanitary and storm sewer improvements at various locations, reconstruction or resurfacing of various roads, including drainage improvements and curb construction and reconstruction. And that's pretty much the extent of the improvements that are going to be made from this bond. A lot of this has to do with, I know everyone has seen, or at least we started to see, the gas company, especially on Wood Valley Road, if you might have noticed, they're starting to put down new high-pressure gas lines throughout the borough. And as a result of that, they're going to be repaving a number of roads. Specifically, I know Wood Valley, they're going to repave from curb to curb. There's a couple of places that they're going to repave that don't have curbing, so we're going to be installing the curbing. One of the roads that comes to mind is Hickory. That doesn't have any curbs, and they're going to be laying the gas pipe on that road, and we're going to pay for the improvements as far as curbing it so it looks like the rest of the towns. The rest of the town, there are various places throughout the town, that they're going to be digging up, and a lot of it they're going to resurface, but some of it we're going to resurface. Also included in that are some roads that just, are in very bad shape that we're going to undertake to repave this year, some of which we're going to get money from the DOT for grants. So we need a motion for that ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Second, since it's a first reading, there is no public comment. There will be public comment next month when we introduce it on second reading. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance, this again, a first reading, ordinance 1282-2020. Renee?
Yes, this is a revised general ordinance of the Borough of Mountainside. And just as a few of examples, the minimum building, plumbing, and electric subco fees are changed to $75. The additional inspection fee shall be $150 per hour, and for continued certificates of occupancy on single-family residential sales, the fee shall be $100. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next is an ordinance, again, first reading, 1283-2020. This is an ordinance that's revising part of our ordinance that deal with liquor consumption. We had gotten a request from some of the restaurants in town. They're starting to have brunches on Sunday. So they were requesting that, right now, the way the ordinance reads is that you can't serve any alcohol till 12 o'clock. We've now expanded that. They can start serving at 9 o'clock for brunches, football, and whatnot. We did, though, put a limit on this. You can't sell any packaged goods until 12 o'clock. So that's the basic changes that were made in that ordinance. So I need a motion for that ordinance.
So moved.
We have second.
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Okay, next we have bills and claims.
Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the following bills of the persons named and for the amount stated below have been duly audited and found to be correct this 18th day of February 2020. The same be paid after council review if and when funds are available, and that the mayor, council president, administrator, and treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to sign and deliver warrants for the same, and that is for a total of $254,261.23.
Thank you. Okay, so we got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Poll the council, please.
Councilman Dierkes?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pacifico?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pater?
Yes.
Next, we have two motions. The first one is to approve a raffle application for the Mountainside Restoration Committee for an off-premise draw raffle. I need a motion for that raffle.
So
So
moved.
moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. We next have a motion to authorize the appointment of Bianca Was as a firefighter. Can someone make that motion, please?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have council comments.
I have some comments. The library is having their book sale. They will be collecting books March 7th through the 11th. The book sale starts Thursday evening, March 12th, and it'll run until Monday, March 16th, which is Bag Day. Also, the library is looking to collect 500 pounds of plastic, so if you could please drop your plastic off to the library or to Barrel Hall, Deerfield School, or Beechwood School, they will get a free bench if we can collect 500 pounds. So please join us in doing this. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor, just one, the Mountainside active retirees is looking for photos of Mountainside. If you've been here a long time, or if you've been here a few years and you have some interesting photos, especially long-time residents, they're looking to archive them for forever. So if you have any kind of photographs, you want to drop them off at Kim Moriak, who's the senior citizen coordinator, and she'll get them over to MAR, and then they'll get them back to you in a couple days. You just want to photocopy them for, forever. So, pictures, they have to have old pictures in boxes, old pictures of the old deserted village, original town hall, downtown Mountainside, the old Trailside Zoo, etc. Please drop them off. They'll take your information, they'll make copies of them, and then they'll give them back to you. But they would like to keep as a permanent record of Mountainside, the history.
Bob, I'll just follow up on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
The Restoration Committee is doing that as well. So I will link the two of them together because I know they have a lot of photos, and also over at Maxwell's, there was a stockpile found that somebody was going to go over as well. So maybe they can all put them together, and I'll take care of that.
Okay, on February 29th, Gary White is having his annual charity comedy night for FOP. It's a cause that Gary has been chairing for a number of years. He actually has a resolution from every single town in New Jersey, except for two, commending him for his work. The tickets, I believe, are $50, and Gary's on Old Tote. If you need any other information, you can certainly contact Martha or Tom, and they'll get you to where you can buy some tickets. It's a great cause. It's a great night, and I urge everyone to go. The Mountainside PAL is also on the same night, but a little earlier, offering, it's not the same crowd, offering a skate night at the Florham Park roller rink. It's free to all Mountainside residents. They give you free skates. It's a good night. I think it goes from 6 to 8 o'clock, so it's a good, fun time for all the kids. And again, it's sponsored by the Mountainside PAL at no cost to any of the participants. Any other comments from council? Do we have any public comments?
You want to know something on Friday?
Our 125th cocktail party, it's sold out, so I'm not going to announce it.
Yeah.
We are having our 125th cocktail party and dance at the Springfield Garden Inn. Unfortunately, it's sold out. They sold 350 tickets, so it's going to be well-attended. It'll be a nice event. I know our committee is also going to be announcing at least two other events that I'm aware of. One that has to do with Mountainside residents expressing their artistic abilities, and that's going to be sometime in June. And then in the fall, we're going to have some kind of outdoor concert and
End of summer bash, I think.
End of summer bash is what they're calling it. That's going to be in September, and Gary White is also helping us out with that. So things are We're going to be rocking in the spring for Mountainside's 125, so. Okay, I'm done. Okay, any audience participation? Okay, so we need a motion to, okay, I was waiting.
Okay, Liz Truman, 355 Cherry Hill Road. I'm here tonight to get an update on how much money has been spent to date on the lawsuit. The lawsuit brought by police officers against the borough.
I don't have the specific figures. We budgeted last year, I believe it was $790,000 for legal fees. I think we spent somewhere in the neighborhood of around $500,000. So that's the amount that we've spent on legal fees last year.
So that would have been $500,000 last year, $625,000 the year before.
Yeah, I think part of the 500 paid the 200 that we had to do a special appropriation on the year before.
So then it's still about almost $1 million?
No, it's not almost $1 million.
625 in 2018.
Right.
And now you're saying
Oh, for both years?
another 300, so that's 925.
Yeah,
So that's
for both years, yes.
Okay.
And I'll get the specific figures for you if you want to come to the next meeting, and I'll let you know exactly what they are.
okay.
Okay.
So how much, like the budget that was for 750, that goes through what period of time?
The new budget for the upcoming year.
Well, no, the last budget for 750 that was passed,
That was for 2000,
2019.
right, we're going to have a new one for 2020.
Any idea about how much is going to be?
I think it's going to be around the same.
So we're in for almost $1 million and it's not over. And now
Correct.
there's going to be another 750, you think, allocated for
Well,
next
that's what
year?
I believe that's what's going to be in the budget, yes.
So $1,750,000 on a lawsuit. Could we please get an update on when we think this might be over?
I can't give you that update, I don't know. They just,
Well, do we have any idea of, like, can you give us any kind of progress update? What's going on with it? Haven't heard anything for a while.
Joe, you want me to do it?
The advice that we have from the law firm that is representing the borough in the case is that the elected officials should not comment on pending litigation. That's been the policy of the governing body has followed that advice as a matter of policy
Well, we're
since
paying
early on.
these taxpayers in this room are paying those people, so I think that we deserve an update on, you don't have to say specifics, right? But like, where are we in the process?
Mr. Truman, I was just responding to the question that the mayor asked me and trying to address your question. What we will do is check with the Gibbons Law Firm and see whether we can, at this stage of this case, put out a statement that would bring or respond to your question about what stage of the litigation process we are in at the moment and what additional information we can provide.
So how much of the taxpayers of this town paid to the Gibbons Law Firm?
I don't have
Of the
that.
925, just approximate, what would you guess? 80% of that? Your firm
I
got
would
some
say-
also, correct? How much
yeah.
has your firm been paid?
I couldn't give you anything near to a precise number, but I'll be happy to send you an email in the next couple of days with that exact number.
Okay, that would be great.
I can respond to one thing, though. You keep talking about the cost. The residents of Mountainside, and our job is to make sure that we vigorously defend this lawsuit. And if we have to spend taxpayer dollars to vigorously defend a lawsuit, okay, against the borough of Mountainside, we're going to do that. So I know it's costing, but we're doing it because we feel it's in the best interest of the residents of Mountainside to vigorously defend that lawsuit, and that's what we're doing.
Well, we'll have to see in the end how much it
I guess
costs.
so.
Because certainly if we might have settled, if we had addressed it before it ever became a lawsuit, if we had listened to anybody who was bringing these allegations to your attention.
Not to my attention.
In the public forum in January of 2016, when that was brought to your attention, if you had done one thing to entertain that, we wouldn't be in this situation. It's 2020. It's ridiculous. It's, you know.
No, and I have to comment on that, because we did something. We referred it to the Union County Prosecutor's Office,
I'm sure
okay?
it took- Yeah, well,
I don't know what you wanted us to do. We referred it to the committee, the investigatory body.
You could have done other things. You could have taken care of the people that were causing the problems. You could have stopped it right in its tracks from going on. But here we are, and it seems it's never going to end.
It will end.
It's going to end in our favor.
I'm not going to comment any further, because I'm not allowed to comment any further. It eventually will end, I can tell you that.
Charles Bratton, 1036 Summit Lane. Does the council have a magic wand to dismiss lawsuits raised against the borough?
No, we don't.
Thanks.
Any other public comment? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So adjourned.
Okay, you want me to get those folders?